Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how you can calculate the future value of the total wealth you would have created if you invest a certain amount each month in a fixed deposit. So for instance, in this table what I have is I have 5 years and which would have 12 months each for each year, and then I have determined the monthly investment value of 5,000. So this could be 5,000 or any other amount you would require in any currency, and also a fixed interest rate here I've taken of 4%. So this interest rate could be in line with the interest rate environment in the country you are residing or investing. So for instance, if I take this example, I'll start with the opening balance of 0, and then for my investment what I would do is I would link it to the monthly investment value I have here. And also for the purpose of this Excel, for me to continue the same monthly investment going forward, what I do is I lock in this cell. So in order to lock this cell, what you need to do is when you're after selecting the cell, while you have the cursor still within the cell, you have to click on F4 on your keyboard. So this is on top of the number 4 on the keyboard. So then once you do that, the cell would get locked in and you can click on enter. Then for your interest, what you have to do is you have to click on equal, you open a bracket. So your interest would be calculated on the opening balance plus whatever the investment you made during the month. So here the assumption is that you are making the investment at the beginning of the month. Then you multiply it by your interest rate. Again, since I want to continue the same interest rate in the future months as well, what I do is I lock in this cell. For that, again, when you are after selecting the cell, you have to click on F4 on your keyboard. And once you click on F4, the cell would get locked in. If you are having any trouble with figuring out F4 on your keyboard, what you can do is you can even manually type these dollar signs. So I'll just show you how you do that. While after clicking on this, you put the dollar sign here, and then again you put the dollar sign here. And then what happens is this interest rate is an annual interest rate. So to convert it to monthly, you have to divide it by 12. So then when you click on enter, you get the monthly interest rate of a investment of 5,000, and here since the opening balance is 0, the interest would be calculated only on the 5,000. Then to get your closing balance, what you have to do is you have to enter the formula, the opening balance plus whatever the investment you made during the month plus the interest you have made on the opening balance and the investment you have made during the month. So this closing balance would be a dynamic formula. It should change each month. So therefore, I'm not locking in any of the cells. But for the interest rate and also for the monthly investment, I would be locking in the values, so that my intention is then when I change these interest rates and monthly investments, my entire schedule would automatically change. Then when you go to month number 2, what would happen now is your opening balance would no longer be 0. It should be equal to the closing balance of the previous month. Your investment, however, would remain the same because that's how we have modeled this here. So since I have locked in cell F3, what I do is I drag it here. So the benefit I would have of locking in the cell is that now when I drag this cell below, what would happen is this value won't change, because if you didn't do that, what would happen is so for instance, if I hadn't locked in this cell and I just selected this, then when I drag it, what would happen is automatically the cell below it would get selected, and that would cause an issue. If you also want to avoid any formatting from the cell above getting dragged down, what you can do is you just copy and you paste the formula. Then interest again would be the same, so the same formula would apply. So here I need to first lock in this cell, and then I copy and I paste the formula. The interest would also be the same formula, so I can copy the formula again. Closing balance also again the same formula, so I copy and I paste the formula, right? So after I've done that, so this formula would apply throughout. So I just copy. You can either do Control C or you can right click and click on copy, and then I select the cell range to which I want this to continue up to month 60, and I paste the formula. So more than dragging, this would be more convenient because the formatting would then apply accordingly. Yeah, so once I've done this, you can clearly see here. So for each month we have fixed our investment at 5,000. We have a fixed interest rate of 4%, because this is more of like a forecast we are doing for the future to see, you know, if I invest 5,000, how much should I have at the end of the year. You'll have 61,316. Then at the end of 2 years you will have 125,130. End of 3 years, end of 4 years, and at the end of 5 years you will have 332,600. So this would be specifically useful. For instance, you know, if you have a plan of, you know, within 5 years maybe buying a vehicle, buying a house, investing in your higher studies or something like that, or any other commitment, maybe your wedding or whatever it may be. So you can see to arrive at whether if you invest 5,000 or whether you invest 10,000, depending on the interest rate, of course, how much would you have at the end of 5 years. So just to depict the usefulness of this, for example, say, you know, you wanted to have something like 500,000 at the end, but now here you see you are getting only 332,000. So what you can see is, maybe you can see, maybe you should increase your investment to 7,000. So when you make this 7,000, everything, so you can see the investment in each month automatically changes, and now you can see your updated closing balance that comes to 465 640. So maybe I make it 7,500, then you can see it comes very close to 500,000. So alternatively, maybe we just want to keep it at 5,000, but then instead of 4%, you can, you know, maybe look for a investment which gives a higher return. So maybe instead of depositing this at a bank, maybe you can try and deposit this at a finance company which might, you know, offer higher interest rate. Of course, you need to weigh out the risk and return considerations based on your risk appetite. So maybe you make it 6%, you can see the closing balance would be a higher value. If it's 10%, a much higher value due to the higher interest and then the compounding effect of this higher interest. So I hope this video was useful and you were able to get a proper understanding of how you can do a similar calculation for yourself. Thank you.